the wisdom talk today. Um, I'm still on the series of 38 blessing, and today we reach at the 31st blessing. Now, wow, we gonna be finished our 38 blessing, just 7 more blessings. So now we will finish 38 blessings. But the 31st blessing topic is, let's see, practicing practicing what? Practicing spiritual austerity. Wow, if you wonder, wow, why practicing spiritual austerity would be would the good thing for your life, would be the blessing thing for your life, and what is it, and how can I practice spiritual austerity? I will share to you today. And let's go to the next slide. uh, Information for this blessing, I got it from Tipitaka, which is the Bali canon of Buddhism, and it's in the chapter called Mangala Sutta Kuttaka Nikaya, which is the minor collection discourses of the Buddha. I I read it, I researched on it, and applied it to you with the slides today. Practicing spiritual austerity. So you have a question, right? Here you have a question. What is spiritual austerity? You want to have? I think you have a question. So, um, first, okay, spiritual austerity is the way to purify your mind. It is kind of like upper level to purify your mind than following the principles or meditation. This is a upper level to purify your mind. And the purpose of spiritual austerity is to eradicate or to get rid of defilements from your mind, to get it off all. It has a 13 practicing, so we can say it is a 13 austerity practicing. So for the monk, some monk might choose to follow all of the 13 practice to purify their mind. But some monk might just choose some to purify the mind. So it is option is not like a strict rule. It is an option to get an upper level of purifying your mind. But as a layman like you can choose just some at some point to purify your mind, um, to get a better life, to practice yourself. You have an option too. Okay, but what is it? What about the detail? So I will share to you. Uh, okay, then okay, that is the origin of the origin of practicing spiritual austerity. It happens in the Buddha time. One of his followers, the greatest follower, called Prat Mahakassapa or Venerable Mahakassapa, he chose the way to purify himself apart from following the 227 principle of monkhood. So he kind of like he he go on the upper level to purify himself for enlightenment by following spiritual austerity. And actually his life, this was not the first time that he did, because in his earlier life, I mean the life before he was Venerable Mahakassapa, he has been doing practicing spiritual austerity so long time in many life before he was born as Venerable Mahakassapa. So it means he feel familiar with the way of austerity to purify the mind. Yeah, but what are the the notable thing that he practicing? He first one he um he on live on what he live on just only the rope. That's not the do you see the big rope, the big one, yeah, orange one. But the rope that he wear, that he use, is not the new one, because in the ancient Indian era, the big rope, a good yellow rope, is very expensive. If the monk choose that rope, what does it mean? People will look the monk as, oh, you are the rich man. You are not. You shouldn't be the priest. You shouldn't be the monk um, who live with some insufficiency. So the Buddha allow the monk to get just a piece of rope and get it, seal it together to be the big rope and wear to be the monk dress. Or you can pick the rope from the graveyard that people throw it away. You can use it and color it to be orange and wear use it. This is what the Buddha allowed monk to do. So, Papa Mahakassapa, Venerable Mahakassapa, he strictly follow on that point. Another one, he is very outstanding. He always live in the forest, not live in the house with just with a small tent, with a small shelter in the forest, not live in the big house or big room. This is very sufficient. And another one, he eat the food he eat would come from put holding the arms bowl and walk around and get the food from what people donate in the arm bowl. You see at and the back on the back of him, there's an arm bowl. Arm monks use their arm to go around, and people, Buddhist people, will donate the food that the monk will bring the food in the arm bowl to eat for their daily life. So that's it. That's a, for a monk. Monk cannot choose to eat food that is not in the bowl. This is the ancient Indian era. So he is very notable in practicing in these three 3 point. So, and he was proclaimed from the Buddha as the notable followers in practicing spiritual austerity. And the next slide. Okay. So you may have a question. What is the 13 austerity? What is it? So it consists of 1. Wearing only robes which are made out of discarded cloth. Like I said before, Buddha allowed monks, I mean in the ancient Indian era, because the big robe in one piece of big robe is very expensive. So Buddha allowed the monk to get the robes which are made out of discarded cloth. So just bring some piece of cloth and sew it together and color it, or get a robe from the corpse in the graveyard. So this is what Buddha allowed. Second one, use only the triple robe set and no other cloth. So Buddha allow monk to have just only 3 clothes in the body. You see the skirt we call sabong to cover the body, and see like some kind of like robe that like the shirt we call jiwon. This is a main breast of monk, and another one just that we put it on the left shoulder. We call Sankati. This is an additional rope for various utility. So we can use as a Jiwon too. There's only 3 ropes that the Buddha allow monks to use. Okay. The third one, third one, eat only the food that he obtained through his arms round. Yes, like I said before, like the Mahakaspa, you eat on what people donate in the arms. Do not ask for any other food because monk will what? Monk should live on what we eat, not not following what we want to eat. Do we eat just for living, but we are not live for eating? So we should estimate food and for go for arms round at designated route only, not just go to the big round for the much more food, or just go on a designate route. Eat only once a day. That's enough because the daily life of monk, we sleep, we do some taking showers, like thing, and we purifying ourselves, we meditating. So it doesn't use much of energy. So if we don't use much energy, so what we need is should not be too much. So eat only once a day. That is okay for the body. 6. Eat from alms bowl where savory and sweet dishes placed together. It's some you may feel some it's a little disgusting, but okay, the Buddha need the monk not to attach on the taste of food. Just eating food for living, not live for eating. So do not attach on the taste, just eat that for living. 7. Once start eating, we will no longer receive food from a lay devotee. So just you have to estimate the food that you want to get. Estimate it. Okay, for the living, live in the woods that's not in community. That's a small place. That's enough for you, for the monk. Live under the shade of trees in an umbrella like tent, like in the picture. So that's enough for the place. That could be the good shelter to protect from what? From rain, from sunshine, anything. That's enough. Live outdoor in the open and sleep in an umbrella like tent. This is another option. 11. Live in an umbrella like tent only in a graveyard. It would be very scareful, but this is a way to practice to purify the mind, to overcome fearful in our mind. Live wherever he is assigned to live. So, and the 13 one. So just sit and stand and walk, but do not lie down to sleep. This practice can help one's meditation progress very quickly. Some monks can follow this practice for months or at a time. This option. So monk can choose to follow all of the 13 practicing or just one or two. This is option 2. They can choose in a period of time apart from following 227 principles. But for you, for a layman, how could you purify your mind? How could you estimate yourself? How can you have a self-sufficiency in your life? Easily. As a layman, yeah, for dress you should have enough dress, or for enough dress. It doesn't mean you have to have a very cheap or poor quality, cheap price. No, cheap and expensive is not the answer. Much more or less is not the answer. So you have to know your life, and you know how how much should you have and how expensive should you pay. But if you try to just only cheap dress but poor quality is not good idea. So I say you should know yourself how much and how many or how expensive you should get it. You know yourself, expensive or cheap is not the answer. More or less is not the answer to food. You know that how what food should you take? So because of luxury food in the big restaurant, high cost of dish is not the answer. It might be not it is exceeding in your life, because if you it exceeding in your life or may come with cholesterol, with sweet diabetes, it will come to see you. So you have to find some good food, and you have enough food, not too much, not less food. You can estimate yourself. um, for house, so yeah, you should know how about the size of house that fit to you or your family. Bigger house, more expense. Smaller house, less expense. It's probably the answer. And the thing you should do, okay, meditate every time. When you meditate, what I get, you get wisdom to see what is enough for your life. Okay, today this is all my wisdom talk, and I return my microphone to MC, and thank you very much. Okay.